Hello everyone, can you all hear me?
Yeah, you're audible.
Right, okay, thank you and good afternoon to you all. So, this week also we met on Saturday due to another commitment of mine. I couldn't do the lecture yesterday, so I requested to shift it to today. And today is the last day that we are going to meet during MSc program. I don't know whether we will meet again. I mean, uh, within this course, during this course, Principles of Management, today is the last day that we are going to discuss all these concepts, principles, and everything. Right. So, as you all know, since we were been discussing about management process, the management functions, today is the day that we are going to discuss the final function of the management process, which is controlling. So, during the first half of today's lecture, we'll be discussing about controlling, and during the second half, we'll be discussing kind of an additional topic, which is really important for you all as managers. It's about change and innovation, change management and innovation. So, we discussed about external environment, new management approaches, technology and everything. Regarding all these things, we were discussing throughout all our discussions for last couple of days. So why all these things matters? Because of change, because of, yes, simply because of change. The thing that does not change in this world is change. එහෙමනේ අපි කියන්නේ නොවෙනස් වෙන එකම දේ වෙනස් වීම කියලා. So every moment, especially in business management context, especially in business organizations, management is inevitable, and the current rate of change, phase of change, the gravity of change is really high. It's really unpredictable. It's really rapid. The rate of change is really increasing, right? And it's unpredictable. We don't know what will change tomorrow. So, therefore, since change provides a platform for all these novelties and new approaches, and since that is something that you should be really aware of and cautious, we will be discussing about change and innovation as the final topic of your continuing education course, Principles of Management. Okay, so today, so last week, I think you can remember we watched some videos and we engaged in class activities, kind of a small, very informal group activity. Today, I'll be going to have some interactive social media activities with you using the Mentimeter platform, Mentimeter app. So we'll see how it goes, right? So, begin with the discussion. Let me share the paint canvas with you as usual. Can you see the canvas?
Yeah.
Okay, right, good. So, හැමදාම වගේ to begin with, by now we have discussed about planning, and we have already discussed about organizing. That means the point where all plans comes into implication, I mean, to implementation. Then we discussed about leadership, something that you have to be very cautious. As managers, you all are leaders. You are always working with people. So these leadership qualities, characteristics, approaches, theories, they play an important role in your organizational life. You are going to communicate with people, you are going to motivate them. So leadership is like the what do you call, lifeline of any organization. So finally, what we are going to discuss today is about controlling the final function of the management process. Final function of the management process, controlling. So this is what we are going to discuss today. So actually, why do we need this controlling function in an organization? What do you think? Why controlling is required?
Just to assess the performance, or like to understand the risk, or are we on track? Are we
Mm.
following the standards and all?
Mhm. So to ensure
to,
that whether we are on track or not.
to yeah to
Yeah.
measure whether we are in the objective or in
Okay, to measure whether we reached our objectives,
or
because
otherwise
yeah.
take action to achieve to the goal.
During the planning stage, we decided what to do, how to do. Even before that, we have our strategic goals, objectives, and our vision. So controlling is required to ensure whether those things are being achieved or not. Okay, any other idea?
If not achieving, to make take corrective action to
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Yes, that's true. What else? Any other?
Optimization, fine tuning.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you want to do all these things using this controlling, right? If controlling is required for all these things, what kind of measures are you going to take?
It's like a performance indicator, so results or KPIs. Is that one?
KPIs, measuring KPIs. Okay. Anything else?
Setting standards.
Standards, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Sidhu, thank you. Yes, so if I say something like this, now in the management process, we discuss this controlling as the final function. But actually, we can't say that is the final function just for the purpose of discussing it, learning it. We understand it as the final function, because to discuss these concepts, there should be starting point and a closing point. So we started a discussion with planning, and we discussed the final controlling as the final function. But we can't say controlling is the ending function of management process, because as I told you earlier also, this is a continuous process, right? So even at controlling, it linked with planning again, right? Again, it may link to leadership. Again, it links to the organizing. So everything happens together. Uh, to have a kind of a clear discussion, we have divided it into 4 functions, and we are going to discuss it 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, actually, what happens in this controlling is, of course, as you mentioned, now we have developed our plans. We know what to do, how to do. But beyond that, beyond this planning, I mean, above this planning, yes, we have our final goals and objectives, or the strategic goals and objectives of the company, right? So even above them, even beyond that, we have our uh,
Vision statements.
vision of the company, yes, of course, vision of the company, right? to be reached. Then, once the plans are made, it is implemented with organizing functions because you identify resources, people, how to create the jobs, how to allocate them into different divisions, how we are going to allocate those identified resources among these divisions and people, then how the structure of our company is developed, whether we are having tall structure, flat structure, or it's boundaryless organization, whether it's spread across uh, regions, different geographical areas or countries, cross boundaries, and who will be reporting to whom, who will be giving instructions to whom, the reporting lines, whether you are giving an higher level of authority, power, freedom for your employees, whether you are going to keep those authority, responsibility, everything to the top managers. That means whether you are going to manage your company through centralized decision making, or whether that authority power is decentralized, all those things are decided and implemented as organizing. Then, as managers, you are going to always lead your company towards these goals, objectives, and vision. So that we discussed under the leadership function. Okay, that means now your entire organization is running. Now this is running, right? So as a cogwheel. So now your organization is running upon your planning, organizing, leading, and everything. So as you correctly mentioned, right, just planning, implementing, and keep going is not enough. Time to time, we need an evaluation. So that's why you are facing examinations during your academic journey. So that's why you are facing performance evaluation at your career. Right, so time to time, whether we need to measure whether we are on correct track, or whether we are doing what we need to do, whether we do what we intend to do, right? කරන එකත් හරියට කරනවද? So that means whether we are doing the right thing, whether we are doing it correctly. Both things is right, efficiency and effectiveness. So whether we are doing the right thing, or whether we are doing the things correctly as well, right? Then to decide, yeah, whether you will be rewarded or whether you will be more motivated further, whether you will be warned, or whether your goal should be revised. To decide everything, controlling is required. Otherwise, people will be doing whatever they want. Even though we have planning, organizing, leading, everything, people at different points, people can distracted. They can get distracted from your main objective. So, to survey, to examine, to scrutinize, to explore whether people are doing what they want to do, what they are intended to do, whether we are on track towards goals, objectives. This controlling part is required. Therefore, there is a process. Again, in the controlling function itself, there is a process. I mean, there are few steps, there are few activities that you want to perform. So, in an organization, right? Now, before explaining this process, I'm going to ask you a question. I want to ask you, what are you going to control in your organization? So for that, rather than just talking, I would like to get your interaction through a small app. Right? So I will share a link with you. So you can go to that link. You can click on that link and you can Give me 1 minute until I get this link. Right, and just click on the link and check whether you can go to this Mentimeet activity. Now I have shared my screen with you. Just click the link. All right, now I can see 7 people have admitted to the activity. Yes. Yeah, I think you also can see 9 people are there. So click the link and come to this activity. So once you once you respond, you can see that your response is recorded or shown on my screen, right? So what type of controls you are going to use? What are you going to control actually? You can think and send your answer. So now I can see there are 15 members who have joined and 3 responses are there. In your organizations, what are the things that you are using as controls? And I think you can see on my screen how your responses work. Okay. Progress review meetings, scorecards, tasks, KPI, audits, feed forward controls, resources, monthly evaluations, right? Good job. Tasks, survey, okay. Now, when I see your answers, I can see now you're thinking on one line. That means you're thinking on your activities and financial progress, self-evaluation. Right. You're thinking on the line that budgetary controls. Okay. I have shared the link in the chat. Huh? Someone is asking about the link. In the chat, I have shared the link. Ratio analysis, right? Okay. So, almost all the answers that you have sent me, they are very uh, financial, very operational, very performance oriented, those things. Are these the only controls that you can use in an organization? What about the human aspect? Right, of course, human performance activities, all those things are governed through all these audits, performance measures, and everything. So, beyond the performance, anything else that comes to your mind as controls with human aspect? Right, I can say there are many answers. Data, 5S, well-being, compliance or complaint controlling. Feedback, appraisal, right? Okay, good. Employee welfare, safety, yeah. Employee development. Okay, right. That's what. Now your thinking pattern is bit expanding. So when I said the word controlling, all the things that came to your mind was regarding operational things, performance, how to control with performance indicators and financial things. But at the same time, there are controls going beyond that, which links to human aspects as well. So, online LMS, I think maybe from academic background. So, now I would like to ask from the person who sent this, let's say, well-being answer. The person who sent this well-being as the answer. Can you just explain your idea as to how well-being is used as a controlling mechanism, controlling strategy? Yes, please talk. Please unmute and talk.
Yeah, it's me actually, Shaheen.
Yeah, Shaheen. Okay.
So it's part of like a compile of physical well-being, the work-life balance, uh, or the mental and emotional well-beings.
Mm-hmm.
How companies are controlling the employees with such agendas like a safe work environment
Hmm.
and a healthy work-life balance, like working from home weekly, one day,
Hmm.
2 day you can work
Hmm.
from home.
Hmm.
So likewise, or outing, uh, yeah,
So,
something following some best practices.
hmm. Through well-being, you are going to control their behavior towards a company to get
Yeah.
their loyalty towards the company. Of course. And also, if I just remind you, what do you think about this CCTV camera? CCTV surveillance, if in your company, if you have such, that is also a controlling mechanism, right? Isn't it? So
Y- yeah.
you indicate your employees, look here, you are under CCTV surveillance, you are under observation. So automatically, when we feel that someone is looking at us, someone is observing us, we control our behavior, right? So maybe to protect your resources, to check whether they are really engaging with work, whether they are really actively participating, or to check whether they are going to, what do you call, steal some of the company properties or resources. For all those things, it is used as another controlling mechanism. So this controlling part, it even though we discuss it more towards performance appraisals and goal achieving, so if we expand the discussion, it goes to the some other areas as well, especially with human behavior controlling, right? So, and what is monitoring, action plan, monthly evaluation, right? System control, appraisal. Right. That means, as Shaheen also mentioned, the well-being, and as some of other answers, appraisal, welfare, safety. So through these things, now can you see, it leads to motivation, but ultimately there is a hidden controlling part as well. So even though we discuss these things separately, under the cover, all these things are connected together. All these things are tangled. So in a way, all these motivational activities are uplifting the psychological, mental side of employees to engage with the company. So, engaging with the company means they contribute towards the company goals, objectives. So, indirectly, it leads to controlling as well because their behavior is controlled there to reach goals, objectives. So all these things are connected together. So I believe your thinking was little bit expanded rather than just focusing on financial, measurable controls beyond those financial, measurable, performance-oriented controls, right? So, if so, then
Ma'am, I have a question.
yes.
Yeah. Suppose sometimes some companies give some control levels. That means threshold. You can buy material up to this level. Suppose you can buy only materials worth of $20,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Can we get such kind of threshold as controlling points?
Yes, yes, of course. Budget itself is a control. That means you impose a line. You cannot spend beyond that. So
All right.
resource allocation is also a control, right? So by that, you limit the amount that you can spend, the amount of resource that you
Yeah.
can use. So obviously, resource allocation, budget allocation, all those things are controls. That's true, right? And let's say now you're in this what do you call supply chain management, procurement, in that process. No? So your tender process itself, it's a control, right? So I don't know in detail about all these tendering and everything. So your procurement processes, practices, policies, structures, rules, regulations, all those things work as controls. Right?
Yeah,
And
madam,
And what about the system tracking?
sorry,
What about the system tracking? Uh,
system tracking with regards to stock
yeah,
or this
yeah,
thing?
using
The
SAP or
IT
something like
system.
that.
Yeah, exactly. I think systems are also controls in your organization. So in systems, the entire ERP system is a control because now let's say you're going to enter some uh, payment vouchers, or you're going to clear checks, or you're going to create vendors, and you're going to track your stock. So in all those systems, there are verifications, then maybe evidence, and when it comes to accounts or entries, you need to balance them. So even the system tracking, all those things are different types of controls in your organizations. That's true. Yes, as Siad said, whistleblowing policy in your organization, if you are encouraging a whistleblowing, that means if employees can blow the whistle regarding unethical practices of other employees, or especially of managers, that is also a control. So, whistleblowing and even the ethical code of conduct, again, that is a control. So, always control doesn't have to be very negative, and it's not always, it shouldn't be like a policeman. Right? Controls can be both suppressing, very pressing, very with a kind of a negative tone. On the other hand, controls can be implemented through positive aspects as well, or with neutral aspect. So, as you correctly asked, system tracking, systems are neither positive nor negative. They are kind of neutral controls in the organization. Right. And like performance measurement, KPIs, they give kind of a pressure towards our mind, no? Kind of measuring, evaluating, it has kind of a pressure. So those type of controls are also there. From the positive aspect, as you all mentioned, these what do you call well-being, motivation, and code of conduct of your company, ethical practices, policies of your company. So they're giving a positive vibe, but at the same time, it controls, it governs our behavior too. So did this discussion widen your understanding on controls, rather than being just limited to performance measurements and financial things, so operational measures?
Yeah, of course. I think we didn't thinking about that aspect.
Okay. Thank you, Rashmi, for your feedback. Others, what do you think? Did this discussion expanded or widen your perspectives?
Yes, indeed, it's a 360-degree view of controlling required for all the functions, irrespective of financial dimension measurements.
Yes.
It can be a quality compliance or as you said rightly, the code of conduct is a part of a controlling process that we are
Hmm.
all are complying to the company's requirements or
Hmm.
not. Don't know. So yeah, it's we need to take all the aspects, not only the financial aspect.
That's of course. Exactly. So Mahesh is also saying procurement plan, of course. So that means, my dear colleagues, so your plan itself is a kind of a control because there you decide what to do, how to do. Of course, plan should be flexible, right? According to the contingencies and situations, you have to change the plan, but plan itself is a control. So now, in the future, today onwards, now you can think how I can have kind of a controlling mechanism while motivating my employees, while motivating my team members. How can I control their behavior while developing a procurement plan or a tender process, or while selecting a supplier, while selecting a customer? How can I implement kind of a controlling mechanism, controlling strategy there? Right? Of course, you can think now. Do not just focus your controlling aspects to these financial, operational, performance oriented things. So I'm really happy that we could expand our perspectives and views on controlling. So then, but I have a question. Now we are in a very turbulent environment, rapidly changing with new generations, with technology and everything. So actually, or is this controlling essential? Does it really work in your workplace? Do you find it really, really, really essential and as a must thing? Yes or no? Yeah, answer can be whatever it is. So please answer here. What is your understanding regarding the essentiality, necessity of controlling mechanisms, and why do you think so? Yes. Now you can type your answers and send. We'll see how it goes. In this workplace and phase, in the current workplace, in the current work phase, in the current organizational world, will this controlling work or not? Your experience, what do you think? And we'll see how the things will pop up on the screen. Your answers. Kirupagaran, I saw you have drawn a line. So just type your answers and send. So just type your answers and keep sending. I'll bring a cup of water. I actually forgot that. So I'll bring a cup of water for me. Until that, please type and keep send all your answers. We'll discuss them. So I can see some members are sending answers to the chat. So I prefer if you can send it to the Mentimeter so that everyone can interactively see it, right? So earlier also, previous days also, we use this Zoom chat now. So today we are using another learning tool. So I prefer if you utilize it. So if you find
Madam,
it
can you send that link again? Because I
again,
rejoined with my computer,
uh.
so I cannot see that link.
Okay. Then I'll send it again. So if one find it, okay. Now try, because it's interactive that you can see how your answer is appearing, how others' answers are appearing. So please use. And give me 2 minutes to bring some word. Okay, good. So I can see your answers, and it's like almost all of you are saying it's really essential. Due to the importance of this controlling to align with goals, objectives, to control employee behavior, to mitigate risk, to monitor, to take corrective actions. For crisis management, to reduce waste. Yeah. All right. So it's like all of you are saying yes, 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 it's important, it's important. But don't you think this controlling will, what do you call, controlling will limit, it will suppress some of the uh, behaviors of employees which would have been really beneficial for your company, right? Maybe new ideas, suggestions. Haven't you faced that kind of situations due to controlling that people are not coming up with their maybe talents,
So you mean to
innovative?
say it's kind of a dictatorship level
Sorry.
of controlling? Kind of a dictatorship level of controlling?
Uh-huh. So have you experienced such?
I can say like in a like a micromanagement level or the macro management level. So
Mm-hmm.
if a leader is going to the micromanagement level, every bits and pieces, if he touching of an employee,
Mm.
really we will feel that we are not self independent to take any business decision, or we don't feel the value to the our contributions are valued in the
Mm. Mm.
organization.
Mm.
Everything we need to go and ask for the is that right, is that wrong, so we will lose our self confidence 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So if you are having a macro management environment, something like, like you have a full liberty to do the certain things,
Mm.
but you consult, like, you I have done and you have consult or you align, that such environment will give a boost, or you charge your batteries to do more actually.
Mm. Yeah. Any other experience where due to some controls that you couldn't get the best out of your employees? Anyone who would like to share your experience?
Uh, yeah. Hi, ma'am.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I noticed two things in my past experience working with other companies. One was the
mm-hmm.
fingerprint machine,
Okay.
the attendance, and you controlling the attendance in such a way where employees were penalized
Mm-hmm.
if they didn't attend to work on time.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing. And the second thing is having a timesheet for sales reps, because I was working for sales for
Oh.
quite some time. And providing a timesheet actually was one reason why we had to focus more on the timesheet rather than our scope of getting business for the company.
Mm-hmm.
So because the timesheet was actually aligned with our salaries and plus our performance also. So we had to spend more time, entering where we went, our log sheets, and what we were spoke, and what was the feedback and all. So most
Mm-hmm.
of the time we were actually preparing stories rather than,
Mm-hmm.
living the actual fact, because you can actually have a proper ERP system and kind of like a democratic environment and task oriented, where workers were only given workers have to be given a task rather than just trying to control them, because then we can actually put on all our efforts and all our ideas to achieve those targets.
Mm-hmm. Right, right,
That's what
right.
I think.
Yeah, good, good. Good thinking, good insight that you gave, Adil. And also another thing that I want to ask from all of you. So, in a way, this controlling, as Adil Shaheen also mentioned, may limit the loyalty, contribution, and novel ideas, the kind of experiments, new things from employees, right? And another side of this, think about this new generation. Now Gen Z, Alpha, blah, 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 when they're coming to the workforce with the social changes, generational changes, and everything, do you think whether traditional controlling mechanisms will work any further? Or whether you will have to think of a different set of controlling mechanisms? You have to control them so that they won't feel that they are under controlling, right? Because now they need not to be under control of another person. That's why the freelance workforce is increasing gradually. So they don't want to be controlled by others. But on the other hand, you have to have some control upon them. Otherwise, how can you get the work done? How can you go to your goals, objectives, and the vision of the company? But at the same time, they will be not happy with this different controlling mechanisms, as Adil also mentioned. Maybe these attendance policies, these attendance policy, leave policy, all those things are controlling, right? Whether you are going to sign on a logbook, whether you are going to go for a fingerprinting, or whether you are going to go for any other biometric related attendance monitoring system. So all those things are controls. So whether you can implement them any further with new generations. So now there are avenues that you have to think of. Yes, of course, controlling is required.
Uh,
Yes, Dinesh.
yeah, madam, I just want to ask some question like this. Sometime, yeah, as Adil said, if someone going to control that attendance and timing what they are coming and going, if we are not going to control, let's say that sometime some employees, their behavior like they are not attending the task well, whereas some are attending very, I mean, regardless of timing, and
Hmm.
they are maybe they are late workers, maybe
Hmm.
they are on their off days also they are working. Some people they are not doing. So if if we have this kind of two I mean, if we say if we divide onto these two categories,
Yeah,
how do
like
we
theory X
control
and theory Y people.
yeah,
Extra
how do we
and Y type
control? I
people.
mean, now this is actually this is happening in our recently that one of our project manager changed. After that changes, he's going to implement that timing at the
Hmm.
time of before. I mean, if he says before he comes, yes, we do work maybe late night, maybe off days.
Hmm.
But now, if he is saying that we should be at this time, so we are okay. If we are coming this time and we should go. I mean, we we will not work like such a
Hmm.
way that our mind is setting to that way. So
Hmm.
how we are controlling this kind of things? What is the I mean
Yes.
remedy to do this?
Yeah, actually, Dinesh, so that's a very valid, very important point. So, as we discussed, yes, there are these two type of people. If I draw here, if I just draw here, okay, there are this Y type people. Okay, yes, we can do this, right? Y type people. They are willing to undertake tasks, they are willing to undertake challenges, they are willing to do new things. So, Y type people, right? On the other hand, we are having this X type people. They say, no, we can't. They do not like to undertake challenges, responsibility, new tasks, do not like to contribute beyond their boundaries, right? So they are in a negative mood. So as Dinesh also correctly mentioned, there are these two types of people. No? So if we are going to implement the same controlling mechanism, it will affect these two people in two different ways. Now, Adil also mentioned, now Dinesh also asked, okay, if you are going to have kind of a strict attendance policy, it will be okay for some sort of people. So they would like to, all right, okay, if this is the policy, if this is the rule, okay, we have to go by that. But some people may resist that. Even you will end up with kind of a union action. So actually, I have experienced it in our setup also, right? So if that is the case, especially with this new generation coming to the work, actually how we are going to implement controlling, it's a big question. There are ongoing discussion forums of CEOs as to how this new generation should be managed without suppressing their creativity and ideas. So anyone else in the classroom can provide kind of a suggestion or new strategy. What I
Yes,
feel is you should be very you should be very flexible, and you have to have that participative management strategy. That is my understanding. But from your practical experience,
yes, madam. That actually that a control is depending based on that activities whatever we are doing with the people.
okay, ma'am.
So some activities may be the control the different angle. So
Hmm.
freedom, something else as independent. So some activities has closely monitor with giving some strict situation.
Hmm.
So that is mix. We can't. It should be flexible. That is why I think I feel the control should be flexible.
Hmm. Okay, Mahesh. And
Yeah, this is
other,
yeah,
yes, yeah.
Sure, yeah. Mr. Dinesh said that some people who are working the off time, some people are working the late night time like that. But the person working within that the framework and give the best for the company, then okay, I think
Hmm.
it's not compulsory to work overnight or overtime work because people are maybe misusing that the overtime work. They are not
Hmm. Hmm.
completing the work within a
Hmm.
given period of time. They are postponing that for their the benefits. So I think overtime or the off working or the employees not a the encouragement because
Hmm.
within the limit of time, limit of period, they should achieve the task things.
Yeah.
Another way
Yeah,
is
you can.
we can provide flexi hours,
Hmm.
especially flexi hours when you are giving for the people who are doing, and also they are giving the target, job target only, not the time or
Hmm.
anything. They
Hmm.
will manage according to that. Maybe they are
Hmm.
working during night, coming with the shorts and all.
Yeah, it
Doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter. Yeah.
But finally, outcome will come. That also happening in the companies, giving flexi hours.
Yes. So actually, I also thought about that rather than giving them kind of a strict attendance policy, if we can be flexible, we are giving them the target. So for the to complete the target, we can give a deadline. So within that deadline, if you are completing it with a required quality and standard, so in my understanding also, I think the daily attendance that is something that we should not worry according to my understanding, but I don't know whether according to your companies and its nature it's applicable or not. Anyone else who would like to contribute?
It is depend on the
Yeah.
nature, as you said, because some area that as some area like a IT field, yes, they can do some task oriented program, task oriented some I mean work. They can give some target, but there are some field works. It cannot be. The thing is, sometimes they need to be at the location, especially safety related employees. They cannot be do by flexible time. This is
Hmm.
nature. It is depend on the nature.
Hmm. Hmm.
I
Hmm.
mean,
True, and also it's like a results driven control. If you take
Hmm.
our companies, we don't have a attendance, but we have access controls to access the office premises. But we never record anyone attendance. We never care about who is presenting on time or leaving off
Uh-uh.
on time. So
Uh-huh.
whoever comes, whenever come, they come and work. They do the things, but finally everything being measured by the scorecards, or they measured by the results. So
Mm-hmm.
if I am in a supply chain, my delivery in full on time is on green color. Okay, they don't even ask a single question. Oh, my the forecast accuracies are fine, or my stock availability. Likewise, the modern generations to be more controlled with the AI or the implementation of new technology platforms, because rather going with the legacy mode of controls,
Mm-hmm.
we have to adapt to the new ways of new technology adoptions, where less type of interaction, more system oriented automated stuff actually. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
still as Dinesh said, it's relevant to the environmental things. uh, so it's kind of we can say yes and no. but it is essentials that we have to have a kind of a smart controls in place.
Hmm. Yes. I think Rashmi was also wanted to add something, right? I hear some lady's voice who wanted to contribute.
Actually, it was explained by Dinesh because my answer also was like it's depend on the work, the target that you are performing. It's depend on the job that you are performing. So it was explained actually by Dinesh.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Rashmi, because I hardly hear ladies' voices during the conversation time discussions. So thank you so much for raising your voice.
But we are throughout the session we are hearing that lady's voice. Huh?
It's very difficult, right? Listening to my Takarang voice, right?
No.
No, it is.
Actually, you are engaging with the other students and all.
That's what I want, right? Because during an MBA classroom, what I know is very limited. What you know is uh, it's huge and kind of expanded. So you have variety of experience, industry experience, and practical exposure. So you know than me. That's why. So I'm also learning from you actually. So yes, I think this is a really good discussion that we had just now. So yes, I think Situ,
Uh,
you want to add
yeah,
something?
yeah. Actually, now we are talking how to manage that Generation C.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think the Generation C likes to work in freelance mode.
Yes.
I think
True.
companies has to think to convert their task to freelancing mode.
Hmm. Yeah, that's right. So the controlling practices that we had earlier, isn't it, Nintu? The attendance, leave, and if they come late, whether you are going to cut their salary. So I think you won't succeed with them any further, right? So the traditional controlling mechanisms also, I think you have to revise and you have to think them again. Even when it comes to KPIs, key performance indicators. So to which aspects you are going to pay your attention to? That means in your KPIs, is it only the operational performance, target achievement, or whether you are going to add something more to that list? I think you have to think when an employee came up with a new idea, when an extra activity is performed, that may be not totally related to your business operation, right? So just say, now, in my understanding, according to my experience, so my workplace is an academia. So it's a faculty, right? It's all about teaching, learning, research, and academic administration and everything. But still, we want to organize some other activities. It's not only webinar, workshop, those things. It's like sports related, aesthetic related, musical. So actually, in our faculty, we organized one event where all internal members displayed their talents and everything. So whether when you go for an interview, whether that performance, that talent, that contribution is considered or not. I think we have to think that as well. So personally, I have experienced that usually I engage with comparing activities and all those event organizing activities. So I was recognized for that and at the faculty. So I'm recognized for that. So that intrinsic motivation values are embedded for that. So now think whether you are going to include them in your KPIs, in your measurements, in your targets, whether you are going to include them as under your evaluations, thereby think whether your controlling mechanism strategy should be changed or not. I believe it should be changed, that you have to change. As same as you are changing plans, according to the situation contingencies, you have to again change your controlling mechanisms as well. Would you agree with me? I think you agree with me. You do agree with me, I think. So now, today we had a really insightful discussion. One thing, just understand the controls are not just the financial operational things. There are many other controlling aspects, strategies, many other phases of controls. If you identify correctly, if you identify the pulse of your employees in the organization, you can change your controlling strategies, mechanisms. You can use different new controlling mechanisms so that even your employees won't feel that you are controlling them through that. Even your friendly leadership will be a control itself, right? So now we can link this controlling with leadership from another angle. Leaders are there to guide employees towards goals, objectives. As managers, you're leaders and you're performing, you're measuring, evaluating their performance. So that direct relationship between leadership and controlling is there. But take another aspect. As a manager, as a leader, the friendly relationship that you maintain with your employees will be a controlling, especially with this new generation. If you are going to talk with them very freely, like Machang, Mallis, likewise. I don't know whether it's appropriate for your environment, but I have seen such. Whether you are going to have give a tap for their shoulder
Bro,
and
bro.
talk.
Everyone use bro now, right?
Yeah, bro.
Even my daughter said me, bro, no, bro.
That's very impressive. Yes. So now I know that even our senior lecturers, so if I talk with my experience, even our senior lecturers, even the dean, they call other young lecturers Malli, Machang. So not like sir, madam, boss type environment. So again, uh, indirectly, impliedly, intrinsically, it's a controlling mechanism, right? To get the employees connected with your workplace. So now we expanded many frontiers regarding controlling. Uh, Now you can think more on this. Thank you very much for asking those questions and sharing your ideas, experience, and everything. I'm really happy that this was a very fruitful discussion. Okay, so with that, I'll just stop sharing this Mentimeter activity. We have another one slide to share in that Mentimeter, and again, I'll go to that paint canvas just to discuss the process and the what do you call different stages of controlling. So okay, so if we just conceptualize this controlling mechanism, there are few steps. First you have to establish performance targets or goals, right? Performance standards, whatever it is. What should be achieved? Say for an example, within this month, Salesforce should reach, let's say, 5 million sales. If we divide it into individual employees, A should go up to this limit, B should reach this limit, C should reach this limit. Likewise, first of all, we have to decide the target, the goal or the standard of our perform. Then, according to those targets, employees will be performing their activities, keeping the target as the benchmark. Now they are performing. So time to time, what we have to do, we have to identify that performance and we have to evaluate that performance. Yeah. So at the end of the month, you are going to calculate, okay, what is the sales amount? You are performing, you are evaluating the performance, or in other terms, we can say you are going to measure the actual performance, right? Actual performance. The previous one is the target, second one is the actual performance. Then third, what you are going to do is you compare between the standard or the target, and let's say you are going to compare the standard with actual performance, right? Okay. A have to reach, let's say, 1 million sales. That is the target, 1 million. So then you actually measure the performance at the end of the month. Let's say he or she has gone up to 850,000 sales value. Then you compare it. Then you identify the gap. This gap can be either negative or positive. That means actual performance can either go beyond up the standard, or actual performance may be below or lower than the standard. So you compare and you identify the gap. Compare and identify the gaps. Right? Thereafter, once gaps are identified, what you have to do? If there are gaps, you have to take corrective actions. These corrective actions are in twofold. What are they? Now I'll draw a graph like this. Yes. Let's say this axis demonstrate the time frame. This is the performance level. Okay. Now you give a kind of a standard target for your employees. Okay. At the end of 1 month, you have to reach this performance level. At the end of 1 month, right? At the end of this month, you have to reach this performance level. This is the target that you are going to give, the performance level. So that is the first activity. Then at the end of 1 month, of course, you are going to measure the actual performance of your employee. So it can be either in line with the target, or going below the target, or going above the target, right? The performance, actual performance may differ from the real target, right? Now you identify these gaps, whether underperformed or overperformed. Then as a final activity, as a final step, you have to take these corrective actions. That I couldn't. Okay. This is the process of control, right? I told you there are two-fold of corrective actions. What are they? The first thing that comes to our mind is, okay, so on one way, twofold law. So the very first thing that comes to our mind is correct the behavior or the performance of the employee. Now I told you 10 lakhs is the target given, but 850,000 is the real performance. Then at the end of 1 month, you meet the employee. Now this is the performance evaluation at the month. So you talk with him or her and identify the reasons for not reaching that. So let's say now employee may be having different reasons for that. Personal issues, kind of technical issues, some motivational issues, or some barriers from the company itself, maybe some issues with the boss, political agendas of the company. Like there can be a huge range of reasons for the employee. So you talk with him or her and you provide solutions for that. You remove the barriers, encourage. If that is just because of the negligence, carelessness of the employee, you may warn, you may give punishments, or through whatever it is. On one way, you can correct the behavior and you can push employee to uplift the performance. But the other thing is, as a result of this controlling, sometimes you will have to correct your target or your standard or your plans, right? At the end of 1 month, you understand that with practical context, practical reasons, 10 lakh, 1 million is not possible. It's not practical. Our target, our standard is which is not practical. So what you have to do? You have to revise your target. You have to correct your target. That means if you set your performance target at this level as the first standard, then as a corrective action, you will have to shift it. You will have to degrade it. So that may be an outcome of your controlling. That is why we call this is the point. This is the point where controlling gives the feedback for planning in the management process, right? So controlling is giving a signals to the planning stage. So I have drawn it here, right? I link it there. Now, this is where controlling gives a signal, a feedback to the plan. Yes, as Situ says, whether KPIs are achievable or not, that signal is given through controlling. So if I say that controlling and planning are two sides of the same coin, I think it's agreeable. Planning sets you the standard. Planning gives you the direction. Planning gives you the target to be achieved. Through controlling, it tells us whether actual performance is up to that standard given by the plan, whether we are in line with the plan, whether we are on track with the plan, or else whether the plan or the target standard should be changed. So plans provides a guideline for the controlling, right? And so the first step of the controlling process is set out by the plans. The standard, the first thing, it's developed, it's given by the plan, right? On the other hand, as the final step, controlling gives a actual picture to the plan, whether this performance is really achieved or not, whether performance should be corrected or whether plan should be revised. That two-way relationship is there between planning and controlling. Therefore, planning and controlling are identified as the two sides of a same coin. Okay? Is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone, you agree? Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I just noted down it here. Now, hmm, planning and controlling are two sides of the same coin, right? Now you can take a screenshot of this if you wish, if you want, right? This is all about the process of controlling steps and how we have to change the plans and how we have to take corrective actions on performance, the relationship between controlling and planning. The entire story is given here, right? If you want, you can take a screenshot. Then I'll move to the other, move to a new canvas. Then there are three types of controls in the controlling process. It's like this. Now, if you can remember the very first initial discussion that we had regarding the entire management process, we discussed that, okay, there are inputs or the resources of the company, and we insert these inputs. Thereafter, the manufacturing process happens. Then as a result of this process, we generate outcomes or outputs. Generate this output. So this controlling can be implemented at all these three stages of your organizational processes. For inputs, for the manufacturing process, for the outputs, at all these three stages of your organizational activities or the process, you can implement controlling mechanism. So for that, we identify three categories of controls. First one is identified as feed forward control, right? Then the second one is identified as concurrent controls. The final one is identified as feedback controls. All right. So that means during the input stage itself, you can have some controls. As you said, your procurement plans, selecting suppliers, right? Inspecting inputs, their quality, their standard. All those things comes as feed forward controls. Then the second stage, during the process itself, you can have concurrent controls. That means you're checking with your quality controls, standards, you implement them during the production process. That means when the production is ongoing, you check the product. So in a garment factory, there are supervisors, there are quality checkers. During the production process, they check the different parts of the product, right? Whether stitches are neat, whether there are any hazardous situations for the safety, right? Likewise, during the process, you check the product and even the work premises, work environment. So during the production process, you check all these aspects. So that is concurrent controlling. Then finally, once the product is finished, again, you have quality checks, inspections, and test runs and everything. You check the final outcome as well. So that is applicable for the product, for the work environment, for the employees, for everything. You can implement all these kinds of controlling mechanisms to ensure that the safety, quality, standard, everything of your entire organization, not only the product, of your entire organization, right? Therefore, in the controlling, we identify there are three categories of controlling as feed forward, control, and feedback. Actually, this is specially identified with regards to the production process, but throughout the organizational operations, these controls can be implemented, right? So that is just as a concept that we are learning different types of controls in the organization. Then to make all these controlling mechanisms effective, right? Having all these controls just for the purpose of having controls, it's not enough. To make all these controls effective, there are things that you need to uh, pay your attention to. Things that you need to pay your attention to. If I say your company leadership should support all these controls. Now, as leaders of your company, so can you see the canvas?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, okay. So,
Yeah.
as managers, your leadership qualities, strategies, approaches, style should be what do you call should be supportive for all these controlling mechanisms. Now we discussed there are many aspects of controlling, whether control will uh, limit employee behavior, their suggestions, novelties, whether they will resist your controls, how the leader should think of new controlling mechanisms by motivating employees also. So that leadership has a big role to play in controls, right? And also your company culture, whether your company culture is developed so that kind of whether rigid control should be there, whether flexible control should be there, whether employees are bound to follow those controls, how your culture is established. So in some companies, according to their culture, rigid controls won't work. But in some other companies, because of their bureaucratic and rigid cultural nature, there should be strict policies, rules, regulation in order to get the performance from employee. So your culture matters. And also the other very important thing is engagement and consent from employees. If you can't get the participation, active involvement, and consent from your employees for these controlling activities, of course, it will end up as a failure, right? This uh, employee agreeableness, their participation, their consent, their okay, their green light matters a lot for you to implement your controlling activities very effectively. And remember, always your controlling mechanism, strategies, activities should be linked to the strategies of your organization. Strategies, goals, objectives, and the final vision. Your control should link to that, because through the controlling, you are going to ensure that your goals, objectives, strategies, vision is achieved. Your resources, your employees are directed towards that. So while keeping strategies as something else, and if you are going to implement some other controlling mechanisms towards something else, need not to say that it's a utter failure. So remember, always your controlling mechanism should be developed by linking to the strategy and the vision of your company. It's very important. So at the same time, you have to understand the current developments in terms of workforce, technology, competition, global aspects. With all these concerns in the external environment, you have to think about new strategies for controlling. You have to understand current developments in the business environment. By aligning with them, you have to develop new controlling strategies, as we discussed so far, right? Therefore, there are different controlling strategies or the mechanisms that we identify in organizations. I'll mention it here itself. Different controlling mechanisms or strategies that an organization can implement. So we'll just point out 3, like bureaucratic controlling mechanisms, then market controlling mechanisms, then technological controlling mechanisms. That means bureaucratic controlling mechanisms means how you use your rules, regulations, policies to control the behavior. Market control means how you identify the requirements in the market, customer requirements, social requirements in the external environment, and according to those market requirements, how we are going to decide the performance standards of your company and how we are going to control your organizational activities according to the market needs, according to the market requirements, based on customer needs, competition, and so social trends, so on. Then the third one is how we are going to use technology for your controlling. So how we are going to use management information systems, your system controls, your ERP, as we discussed earlier, right? How we are going to use those technologies in order to have controls in your organization. So just as a concept, we identify these 3 types of controlling mechanisms that can be utilized in your organizations, whether you are going to control by rules, regulations, policies, so on, or whether you are going to control by according to the market requirement, whether you are going to have controlling mechanisms using technology, or whether it's a mix of all these things. Sometimes you may use a mix of all these things according to the nature or the situation that you face, right? But in general, as a concept, we just identify these 3 controlling mechanisms. Are you clear with this entire discussion? Types of controlling, what is required for effective controlling, and different controlling mechanisms. We discussed 3 things using one canvas. Are you clear with these things?
Yes, madam. So what about, madam, cost effectiveness regarding that, like a leadership culture, that whether cost also should consider for those control mechanism, madam?
Yeah, I think yes. No? So let's say this technological controlling mechanism, even though some technological mechanisms are really effective, but if you cannot afford that, of course, you have to think about this. So we can include it under effectiveness as well. So controlling mechanisms to be effective, of course, they should be in terms of cost as well. I think they should be bearable, affordable for your company as well. So the cost benefit analysis we can include under effectiveness as well. Thank you for bringing that concern as well. the method effectiveness list එකට we can add that. The cost benefit analysis of your controlling mechanisms. Thank you very much. So shall we include that also? Then it's completed.
Okay, madam.
Thank you very much for that, bringing that. Right? Are you all clear with these things, friends? Are you happy? Are you okay with this?
Yes, madam.
Seems no one is.
Okay, so you can take a screenshot. I'll draw this within a box. Okay. Right. You can take a screenshot if you want. So this is all about controlling, the entire story of controlling. Right. Now I'll stop sharing this canvas.
Ma'am, here,
Yeah,
the previous image, that input, process, and output. This includes both human resources and other resources, right?
exactly. All the resources in the company. Okay, input means all the resources, no? So it covers all the aspects. That's why I said even when you are selecting a supplier as a feed forward, so it's about a human aspect, no? So not only the product or the resource that supplier is providing, but the value, standard, quality of the supplier itself. That is also considered. Okay, even maybe the ethical aspect of your supplier. Again, a controlling, soft dimension of controlling. So under the feed forward controls, the hard dimension would be you are going to evaluate the quality of the product that your supplier is providing. The soft dimension is you are evaluating the qualities of your supplier, whether he or she is sustainable, whether they are ethical, right? Whether they are treating their employees properly. Even those can be considered, right? Soft dimensions of your controls. Clear, everybody? So thank you. When you are raising new aspects, it further expands our discussion. I mean, soft and hard aspects. Actually, ඒක එළියට ආවේ since you asked that aspect regarding the human. Thank you very much. And I think we had a very fruitful discussion there.
Yeah.
Everyone is clear.
And then that soft dimensions are the trend of current world.
That's true.
Yeah. And
That's
some
true. Yeah, Situ, go ahead.
yeah, some customers also are inquiring regarding raw materials, whether that raw material productions are ethical.
Right.
Means, are they using child labor and
Exactly.
animal parts? Likewise, sometimes we have to fill some forms for some customers.
Right. Yes. Thank you so much, Situ, for bringing
Digital
that.
marketing and such things.
Yes. Yeah. Now see, for you to fill that form, you have to have a kind of a control in your feed forward aspect, right? Controlling your suppliers. So you create kind of a barrier, you create kind of a window. So if your suppliers are conforming to these ethical, sustainable standards only, they through to your input stage, right? So soft dimensions in your controlling. Thank you very much for bringing that aspect as well. I really value that interesting discussions. Anybody who wants to add anything else to our discussion so far? Because the first session of today's lecture, we can conclude it there. So anybody Who would like to add something? Hmm? Then I would like to ask this question finally from you. What type of controls that you are going to use in your company? Bureaucratic, market, technology, or a mix, or something else, any other thing? So you can vote. I think multiple answers are allowed. So you can vote. We can see the ratio, and if there are any other types of controls, we can discuss. So this is the final activity we are going to do in the first half of today's lecture. Please engage. I'm waiting for your responses. We'll see how the answers are varying. No, actually, this gives me a practical insight as well in the industry how these controls are used. What is the mostly used controlling type? Even I can have an understanding. Seems market controls are a bit less. That means due to the market requirements and needs, according to that, internal company controls are decided. That aspect is seems low. Interesting finding. Mahesh says all in a mix. Yes, I think majority is so. Others, would you like to contribute? We have only 8 responses. We have around 24 participants. Why don't you just engage?
Just for a question, what is this Lean Six Sigma and all? It's part of a control, or it's kind of a discipline, but that also control, right?
Yes, the quality controlling aspects are in a way controls, right, Shaheen? So
Mm,
5
mm,
is Lean, Sigma, because it's like a soft control. It gives you a
mm,
signal as to how to behave, but at the same time, it controls your behavior too.
okay.
Okay. And Adil, can you please explain? You say because we have less sales executive, I believe, for being a market controller. Can you please explain this?
I was just looking into why we have less market controllers.
Uh-huh.
Because in our group, I believe we have less sales executives who look into
Ah, right, right, right. You think
market.
that may be the reason. Thank you for
Yeah, that's
giving
what
that
I think.
insight. So yeah, you all are more towards supply chain procurement. Right.
Yes, so we don't look into the overall aspect only.
Maybe, yes.
Yeah.
Very good. So there are 3 others. The people who voted for other. Can you please explain what do you mean by these other controls? Not bureaucratic, not marketing, not technology, but others. Can you please share with us?
It might be mix.
Ah,
So we don't have mix. We cannot say that mix.
all
So
right.
that's what I put in other.
Just because of that, you voted for other.
I also
Yeah.
vote for other because I also like for that mixed concept.
Right. Mix. Okay. Anyone else who thought of a new control type rather than bureaucratic market or technology? Any new concept? Anyone who would like to come with that? Can't we include any well-being related, spirituality related aspect to here? So bureaucratic market or technology does not cover that aspect, isn't it?
Yeah, means you means to say just like culture and all.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Rashmi. So more human towards more spirituality towards think. So I
Is
think,
it something like transformational?
sorry,
I
Adi.
have, is it something like transformational? I've seen, like people explaining a manager being a transformational person rather than
Transformation leader.
bureaucratic.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather than bureaucratic or
Hmm,
autocratic.
hmm, hmm.
So is it something like that? Because he, I believe, is a person who does sets an example and people follow him, right?
Hmm, hmm, hmm. Exactly. So there are four I's no, in transformation leadership. It's idealized influence, inspirational motivation, individualized
Yes, exactly.
consideration. So yeah, yes. So if the leader is kind of a having idealized influence and setting an example for that, that soft leadership aspects, spirituality, culture, well-being, I think those emerging soft dimensions we can include in the other category, isn't it? That is my understanding as a concept. Yes, and Mahesh also says yes, depend on the nature and activities. Yes, of course. That's why I told you. So because of according to the nature of your organization, its context, its environment, you may use either one controlling, two or mix of three or something else that goes under the other category, right? So you may be
Some kind of elderly care that or child care organization like that. At that time, I mean, it is like a uh, uh, we can do some. I mean, it is charity
Spiritual,
work. Some
spiritual control.
spiritual.
Yeah. So yes, actually, in a way, it's also a control and now in some organization, within the organization premise itself, what you call nursery and the daycare facilities are provided. There are organizations like that. In my MBA research also, I have got to know this matter. In the factory premise itself, nursery is there governed by the organization and the daycare facility is also there. So it's a motivator, it's a facility. It's when it comes to Herzberg's two-factor theory, I think it's a motivating factor, not a hygiene factor, motivating factor. I mean, something that goes beyond the lower level of motivational factors. But in a way, it's controlling the behavior psychologically as well, right? Now, yeah, kids are there so that you can see them within the premise itself. It's a relief for your mind. You know that they are with me, and the time that you spend at the company is in a way psychologically it's relaxed and you stay with the organization, right? And in some organization you can bring your kids to where you work. That freedom is there, no one is going to blame. So that different spiritual, cultural, self-esteem related, self-actualization related, leadership related aspects, I think we can categorize them into this other category. Hmm? So this is where motivators become kind of controlling mechanisms in the organization as a soft dimension, right? Thank you very much. So I think ethics can also be included in the other part. Now, few minutes before we discussed about the ethical suppliers and so on. So this ethical code of ethics, code of conduct, all those things can be included in the other basket as well. According to my understanding, I think you also agree with me. You will also do agree with me. Okay, so thank you. As an interactive discussion, we could learn more, we could discuss more, we could widen our perspectives and understanding on controls, and you actively engage with the Mentimeter activity, right? Thank you for that as well. So with
Madam,
that, yeah.
let's wait others to vote because only nine,
Yeah, only
nine of
nine
us.
has voted. I don't know why.
We should reach others also. I don't know why others are not vote.
Yes, others,
So
please
we can
vote.
conclude that
With a good perspective, with a good picture, we can actually conclude. Others, please do join. Are you sleepy or hungry?
Yeah, madam, because of that, first we entered the mobile phone, now we transferred to our laptop. So anyhow, we through the chat, we give a response to the chat.
Okay. So rather than responding in the chat, I prefer you vote here so that we can see a real Mentimeter picture. So now I shared the link again. Dinesh has also shared. So if you can just go to the link and just click yeah vote, it will shown here. And you can see when you're responding, these bars are changing, going here and there. So it's nice to see that it gives an interactive infographic, no? Very live, very interactive infographic, no? Yes, please vote. Then actually at the end, I can download this Mentimeter result to a PDF and I can upload it in your LMS as well. So that facility is given in the Mentimeter. You can live engage, respond. Then at the end of the activity, we can download the results and share. We are using these different learning tools and everything, strategies, so that we can enhance the interaction, engagement, so that you won't feel bored, sleepy, to foster this learning environment.
2 more only, madam.
Sorry?
2 more. I think participant list is given 25. In here, I think already 23 responded.
Yes, now it has gone up to 16. Now, can you see after our discussion, now it's other bar has gone more up. And maybe with the current changes, social changes, generational changes and everything, maybe you are considering more some other soft controls in your organization. And you can think more. And then now today, we understood that controlling is not only about performance measurement, operational activities, it's a broad thing and it's directly linked to your plans. So you can think about many more controlling mechanisms, activities as managers and leaders. Okay, right. Thank you very much, everyone. So since there is a time limitation also, I just stop sharing here. Okay, then that is the end of the first half, or rather the first session of our lecture. And finally, what's left behind is change and innovation. It's a very practical, very interesting session. We can have very interactive discussions there. So, shall we take a quick break and come back? Now it's 3:54. Shall we take 10 minutes break and come back by 4, 5? 5 minutes past 4?
Yeah,
Sure.
sure.
Okay, friends. Then I will come by 4, 5.
Clear the. Okay. අපිට විනාඩි 5ක් බ්‍රේක් එකක් දුන්නා.
Hello everyone, are you all there? Okay, Rashmi, Dinesh, thank you for your feedback. Hope you all are there, okay? Right, and I have shared the results of our Mentimeet activity in your chat as well. I think need not to share it in the LMS. I just converted all your results to a PDF and I have shared it in your chat. If you want, you can just go through it and see how you and your friends have responded to our uh, interactive discussion. Then thereafter, we are going to discuss this final aspect of today's lecture and also the final discussion of our entire lecture series too. It's all about change and innovation. Hmm? Change and innovation. They are not the same thing. No? Anyway, it's clear. They are not same thing, but there is an interdependence between change and innovation. Change means you have a small change from one step to another, right? But this change can be either a very small thing or a very disruptive, drastically a new thing. That is where innovation comes. Innovation is it's all about novelty, a new thing in your organization. So this change and innovation, they are not the um, okay, they are not the same thing. Okay, change and innovation are not the same thing. But remember, this change and innovation have an interplay or an interdependence between the two aspects. Can you see that I'm drawing on the slide?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So why I'm saying change and innovation are interdependent and it has an interplay because as a result of a change, innovation can born. Right. So if you change your culture, if you change the mindset of your employees, it will lead to a it may leads to an innovation, to a novel finding in your company. On the other hand, when an innovation is found, innovation is implemented, innovation is what do you call presented to the world, a change happens. So say for an example, there are disruptive innovations in the world which change the entire way of living. Maybe transport platforms such as Uber, Pick Me, Airbnb, then what else, e-retailers like maybe Alibaba, Amazon. Now it has come up to this Shine or Temu, whatever it is. So those platforms, especially which going with technology and e-commerce, they have make a change not only in individual organization, not only in one industry, but in the entire world, the entire way of living has been changed by them. So innovations create a change. On the other hand, changes may lead to innovations as well. Therefore, it's a linked concept. Has an interplay, has an interdependence as well, right? Yes, as Situ also saying, AI, AI, the AI creates a change of the things that we are doing, and also on the other hand, it creates innovations as well, right? So AI generated contents, they are having some innovative products, innovative things in the world. So on the other hand, it changes the way that we are doing things. So not as earlier, we are not typing letters, thinking and typing. We just give the prompt, give the requirement, and AI writes the letter. So it has created, it's an disruptive innovation, and also it changes the way things are happening. So it's a very linked concept, very linked to concepts. So as we identify,
Can excuse me,
sorry.
why it is disruptive? Is it not constructive?
No, disruptive means no, it's another thing. Okay, so just because what I said it's a disruptive means it's not in the negative term. Disruptive innovation means they break the existing traditional practice, they break the existing industries and give something very new, a very new industry with a very new way of doing things. That's why that disruptive innovation term is used. So recently now our faculty is international conference ICOM. It was finished just by 11th September. So as pre-conference activities, we had many doctoral colloquium, 3MT competition, industry forum, and so on. So this time industry forum was revolved around this disruptive innovation. So there were many people, actually 4 resource personnel who contributed there. So the chairman of Ideal Motor Company, and then this tile was that was the ceramic company, tile company, which has Midaya. What's that? Just now I forgot that name. Yeah, Midaya Ceramic, right? And then Mr. Udena, and also another invitee from the creative economy industry is Mr. Bhatia Jayakodi from BNS, right? So they said, let's take this BNS example, Mr. Bhatia's example. So they have created a disruptive innovation in Sri Lankan music industry. That means what? They broke the traditional music industry. So in terms of music, and also in terms of technology, and also again from business management perspective, from all those 3 aspects, they changed the Sri Lankan music industry. So the music was something new, right? The folk music into new rhythms with westernized music, and then with rap and everything, music was changed. Again, they introduced new technology, the music video, and recently I saw that they have given AI kind of digitalized experience to their new songs with visuals and everything. And then business management in music industry. It's not like they are just singing and going. They have developed a new business model with their music, new organizations, event organizing, music production, and a new business management concept or the model was created by them. So that is a disruptive innovation in Sri Lankan music industry. That means it's a positive thing, it creates new thing, it's constructive by its practice. But why we use the term disruptive innovation means it disrupt the existing traditional practices and given birth to something very new. That's why the term is used as disruptive innovation. Did you get the point, Sidhu?
Yeah, ma'am. I
Yeah,
got it.
it's giving a positive thing, but since it's disrupting and destroying the existing practices and giving something else at the birth, that's why we say them disruptive innovation. Okay, so think about Apple, Microsoft, this OpenAI, which offers ChatGPT, then BYD, maybe Tesla, right? Different organizations, through change they leads innovation. Through innovation, on the other hand, they create a change. So this innovation and change are going hand in hand or hand by hand. It has an interdependence and interplay. So as we discuss in the controlling part also, to foster change and innovation in an organization, of course, its culture, leadership matters a lot. If the leadership is open to change and innovation, he or she will create a culture where changes and innovation happens, it fosters. For that, these learning organization matters a lot. Learning organizations means you allow your employees to learn things, experiment things. That means allow your employees to do new things. Even though they fail, you are not going to punish them. Still, you are encouraging them. Okay, being fail while trying out something new is okay. You try for the next time. You develop a new thing again. Through your failures, through your mistakes, you learn again and go for new things. And when such a new knowledge is created by an employee in the organization, you allow that employee to share it with others. Your company culture, its ecosystem, its environment is developed so that employees can learn from each other, and they can learn from outside and they can share it with inside parties. So in academia, in faculties, we have such a practice. When someone else learns a new things, when he or she earns a PhD or a new thing, we have kind of a platform, maybe online or physical, a workshop or a session at the faculty board, and we request that person to share his or her experience, new learning with others, right? So if that yes, developing a learning culture. So in your organizations also, if you are creating such an environment, such a culture, so that is a learning organization, and it will foster a change and innovation in your organization. Therefore, the organizational culture, its leadership, its technology orientation, all these things matters for a better change and innovation practice. But remember, and I think you understand, this change is not a simple thing. Change is a very hard thing to do in an organization. Why? Because people are not ready to change. They always want to be in their comfort zone. Change is kind of a very hard thing. So as Mr. Bhatia also said, even though they are changing their practices, their strategies rapidly, so that it goes with new generation, he said that it's really hard. It's a very tiresome process, right? Even though now he said how they adapted to new social media, right? They had recruited a new consultant, and from this consultant they have learned new social media strategies, and they're getting adapted to that. They are learning new technologies, digitalization. They are creating their music video and even the songs according to that. And he said that they are learning even from the very new young guy in their company. So they are learning and they're changing in every 5 times period. They are trying to implement something new. They are going to uh, launch something new. But he said it's really hard. Right. At the same time, he said, okay, the 90s generation, they prefer their previous songs. But new generation after 2000, they prefer their new songs with AI technology and with a different vibe. But for us, we prefer their previous song. So he said that happens because we are not ready to change. We think all these gold always. We are not open enough to see the beauty of new things as well. So there are different aspects. It has two sides as well. However, why I brought that discussion here is because change is really hard in any organization, right? There is a resistance to change because people are not willing to leave their comfort zone and embrace something new. They do not like to accept that challenge. Therefore, this resistance to change from employees can range from silence to violence. It can range from Here, I write it from silence to violence. That means this resistance will range from, as it says here, passive disengagement to active protest. That means passive disengagement means if you are going to launch something new, if you are going to introduce a change, people will neglect it. They will not contribute it. They will not become a part of it. They will just ignore it. They will just neglect it. So it's disengagement, right? In that aspect, they are not supporting. On the other hand, on the other hand, from the other extreme, they will come up with even protest, union actions to stop that change. I can remember, I think you also can remember, recently government wants to introduce this attendance policy, fingerprint and everything to postal division employees, right? Now they had a union action. They had a strike. So that is active protest for the change. So in that aspect, through protest, through violence, they are not supporting for the change as well. So not supporting change from two extremes, through silence, through disengagement, from the other hand, violence and active protest. So then what you have to do to mitigate these things and to facilitate this change in your company, now that leadership, that culture, that soft dimension comes to the play. Participative management comes to the play. Systems management, it comes to the play. Communication, motivation, all those aspects comes to this change management, right? Why? Sorry. You have to convince your employees the necessity of this change for your company, for its future. You have to convince them, you have to explain them, look here, this is why we are doing this change. This is why it's necessary. Otherwise, we will fail. Otherwise, our company will be a loser in the competition. If so, if it continues for a long period of time, we will have to shut our operation. As the final result, you will lose your job. Oh, how can we pay your salary if we are not up to the competition, right? You have to convince them, you have to communicate, and you have to motivate them, either by giving rewards for the supporters, and you have to give emotional support for them. Look here, even though we are going to implement this change, you need not to have this drastic change at once. You can gradually change. Let's say you are going to change your manual practices to automated or digitalized practices. You can tell them, okay, we are not going to change the system to digital system over one night. We can parallelly implement both manual and digital system. So gradually you can move from old practice to new practice. So we will give you some considerable time. We will provide you with training. We will support you. We will give you mentors. Then we can gradually shift. Likewise, a training, mental support, encouragement, clear communication, explaining the purpose behind the change, all those things matters. And take the participative management aspect. When you are developing the change, at the beginning itself, you can get the contribution from employees. You can ask them to be a part of your change management process, taking their suggestions, grievances, their complaints, their ideas, their past perspectives. So you get their involvement to the change process. It's very important, right? Through all these things only, you will be able to implement your change successfully, right? So for that, Kurt Lewin, a scholar called Kurt Lewin, he has introduced a theory or a model called can you see the paint canvas?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So Lewin, he has introduced Levin's change model, right? He says that there are 3 steps of your change management process. Okay, there are 3 stages, 3 steps or 3 phases that you need to follow if you are going to implement a change in your organization. The first phase is unfreezing. Okay, unfreezing. The second phase is the changing phase. Third phase or the third stage is refreezing. Refreezing. Okay. That means what? So, now we discuss about learning organization. So, learning matters. In an organization, learning is really important. As same as learning is important, unlearning is also very important. If we want to learn a new thing, if we want to see the world in a new perspective, if we want to embrace novelty, changes, innovation, we should be ready to unlearn as well. පොඩි කාලේ ඉගෙන ගත්ත දේවල් වැරදි එහෙම නෙමෙයි කියලා එක අමතක කරලා අලුත් දෙයක් learn කරන්න we should be ready. So both learning and unlearning the past learned things is important. Otherwise we will be like a fully filled pot. No space to store new things. So if we understand the things that we learned past is wrong, no more valid for the present and future context, we should ready to let it go, unlearn, forget it and learn new things. So as same as that, in the change model also in an organization, first we have to unfreeze the freeze thing in the organization. So in the organization, culture, practices, policies, procedures are freezed throughout the time period, right? Yes, it's giving up nostalgia. So you should first unfreeze the things. තියෙන attendance policy එක, තියෙන filing system එක, තියෙන system එක, we have to first break the ice of that. We have to unfreeze it. Then only people will understand, right, it should be changed. It's melting. Now it's melting. When we establish something in an organization, once a particular practice is established, it's like it's like ice. It's like a iceberg, right? It's very freezed in the organization across the time. Throughout the time, it's very freezed. Then, if you want to change something, what you have to do first? You have to create cracks in this iceberg. You have to let it melt. That is unfreezing. That means you have to make your employees realize, understand that, look here, the things that we have been practicing up to now, the things that we considered as freezed in this organization are not anymore valid. We have to change them. So get ready to change. Get ready to give up your existing practices. That idea, that environment, it should be created first. So identify the need for change, determine what aspects to be changed, what should let go, what should be replaced, and ensuring that there is a support from the management, ensuring that there is emotional assistance and training. All these things are there. It's very important in the very first stage, that is unfreezing. You have to clear the doubts, you have to clear the concerns of your employees, you have to assure them that this is possible, right? Once all these groundwork is done, preliminary activities are done, then you implement the change. Then for this, you can get the support of change agents. For an example, when I was working at Hemas, they introduced a new SAP. The SAP was using there but they wanted to upgrade it to a new version. So they got the support of Indian consultants, sub consultants. They came to the premises to the company, and they stayed there for about 1 week. Then they had discussions with top managers and conducted training for other employees. So likewise, for the change, you can get the support of change agents as well. So these change agents, they will support not only for technical change, but also for soft aspect of change as well. For the training, for the moral support, for encouraging employees, for motivating them to get used to this change. So all those technical and soft support can be obtained, can be received from change agents as well. So this change time period means you implement the real change, right? You help each other, you learn the things, and now we have moved to a new paradigm. We have moved to a new practice. Now change is implemented there, right? Okay, now change is done. We have moved to a new change. And then the next most important thing is you refreeze the new change. Once you move to the new phase, new paradigm, once you complete the change, you have to freeze it again. Otherwise, what will happen? People will shift from this change to past practices, to their past behavior, to their past habits. What they were used to, they will shift there again. Gembo panina wage, from change to all practice, they will move again. System will be implemented, people will keep it aside and again go to manual practice. They will continue it. So to avoid that, what you have to do? You have to move forward. You have to establish new practices. For that, you have to refreeze it. You have to freeze the new practices in the organization again. Right? So after some other time, then what you have to do? Again, you have to unfreeze this practice, again go to change, again go to refreezing that. So it's a continuous process. Aluteng refreeze karapu eka, maybe after 5 years, right? Maybe after 5 years. May refreeze karapu eka, what you have to do? Again, you will have to unfreeze and change it. Right? Time to time, you have to do it. So this change is a continuous process. You have to apply this model every time that you are doing the changes in your organization. Right? For this model, we call Levin's change model because this was introduced by this person called Kurt Lewin. Right? Is this clear to you practically? Can you apply this to yourselves? Is it clear, friends?
Yeah, it's very true actually. Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead, Shahid.
No, it's very true actually. Yes, that's how it's supposed to be. But this unfreezing comes with the requirements, right? Or the existing things are not fit enough to cope up or whatever. Based on that, it triggers the changes, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Because we are not going to add unfreeze the things in ad hoc manner. දැන් වෙනස් කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා just it will leads to a chaotic situation. When the requirement arises, with the requirement, when you understand the necessity, once you identify the need for change, then you can start unfreezing. Otherwise, you can't work, right? Always melting, unfreezing without without very established procedures, you won't be able to work. When the requirement arises, you can start unfreezing and go for the change. When the requirement or the need arises, you can do it.
Madam, that unfreezing mean that unfreezing mean let's say that if they have a fingerprint system, so if they want to change into that eye print system, at that time what they wanted to say, this they need to explain this is the change we are going to implement. So that while we are keeping this fingerprint, and we will implement that other system, isn't it?
Yes, yes. So
Correct, no?
yeah, correct. So you have to explain the requirement for your employees, and you have to assure that they are not penalized due to change, right? Fingerprint in the lab, when you move to eye scanning, then or any other biometric identification, you have to ensure that they are not penalized due to the change. They are assured, they are secure, they are ensured, and mentally you have to support them. And that type of a environment should be created during the unfreeze stage. Thereafter, you can implement it. You can bring new machine, you can implement it, you can train employees how it works, how you have to do it. Then you have to take their biometrics and feed it, and all those technical part, implementation part is the change process. Thereafter, refreezing means gradually you have to um, shift all the employees towards that new method while removing or revoking the existing fingerprint machine. That's how.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to just share my experience. One of my company, while we are working there, it wasn't any fingerprint or any system. So just people come and work. What they wanted to implement this fingerprint, what they did, they implement this one, and they catch the lower level of employees. So at that time, if it is like what happened in Sri Lanka recently, that post office case, that that one, what my understanding is, we need to catch the some level of employees. Then that higher ranks, usually they are not going to have, I mean, they are not ready to change. So in this case, if the lower level is going to start, then I mean, it is gradually should be changed. It shouldn't be changed at once. I mean, so then the pressure of or reluctant would be less.
Yes.
So
That's very true. The change should be a very gradual process, right? As you correctly mentioned, always there is a resistance to change, so that reluctance, the rate or the gravity of the reluctance can be reduced, and can get more support from the employees when it is implemented very gradual, smooth manner. That's very true, and I think Shaheen has shared another picture with us. It's triple A change process. That's the same thing again, analyzing the change and actionize the change, and finally anchor it, refreezing it. So it's the same idea again. This what do you call, Levin's change model from another perspective. Analyzing change, that means identifying the requirement and defining it, then implement it through everybody, and finally what do you call, establish it in the organization. And there is very interesting part in the image that shared by him. So reviewing the change outcomes, anchoring and transferring ownerships, it's very important. So once the change is done, of course we have to review the results, whether cost benefit analysis, and whether the actual requirement is met, whether this is the real change that we want or not. All those post evaluation should be there at the refreezing stage. That's very important. And passing the ownership to the people. Now let's say change consultants came and they supported our change process. Now, thereafter, they will leave. They will keep the ownership with the company and they will leave. Even the ownership of the company ownership should be gradually uh, flow down to the lower level employee. They should feel all right, now this is our thing. This is a new thing. This is our thing. We have to continue it. That ownership should be part. It's very important. Thank you, Shine, for sharing that image. It uh, gave me an avenue to discuss that post evaluation and passing the ownership as well. Thank you very much. And would you like to share your another practical experience regarding this change model? How you unfreeze, how you change, or actionize, then how you rephrase, how you evaluate the post result, how you pass the ownership to the employees, how you then establish the new one as the continuous process. Yes, any experience that you would like to share?
Yes, madam.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I would like to share my experience regarding. So I am working in the project. So climate smart irrigated agriculture project. So especially engaging, madam, with the farmers. So they have their behavior. We have to change with the smart irrigated method. So climate is smart. Whatever that changing method is very applicable to them. So in the unprecedented line, in the we had to challenge to change their mind attitude. So how to do this one? So implement the new mechanism in the new technology with the farming. So
Yes.
we did that especially in the awareness program for what is the purpose of this one, what is the effectiveness, how this is effective, there increase the living standard. So then expose or visit awareness program, we explain with getting so many example. So then after we introduce their new technical equipment. For example, so they cultivating with the general traditional way, but now in the trend is solar water pumps, for example. So in previously they used the kerosene water pump. So in the field, in their farmer line, the area, so we introduced the solar water pump instead of kerosene. So it is environmentally and very effective promotion to them with assistance of financial assistance to them. Now they understand this the solar water pump is very effective than their previous one. So traditionally method they move to that new model with the climate smart method. So now it is using and demand is very high now for that purpose also. So this is one example. Likewise, there are so many modern equipment we have introduced to the farmer to increase their farming and take the very standard, increase their living standard.
Yeah, actually, Mahesh, it's very nice to hear how our agricultural sector it's evolving, how it's going to smart
Yeah,
aspect.
madam.
Yeah, that it's something that should happen, that must happen in our
Yeah,
country, right?
if
So
you
it's
want, I will share the one very small clip, video clip to. This is the drip irrigation in line with the water measuring, water sharing the their pump. Shall I
yes,
share
please
that one?
send it in the chat, Mahesh.
Okay, okay, madam.
Yeah, thank you very much. And how was the resistance for that change, Mahesh? Was it really hard to convince them?
Yeah, madam, because of some the threats are there, because of other people are doesn't like to change. Because of all people's, there's a young people are very interesting, but the all farmers are not willing to apply those methods. But with explore that explore or visit in for other using peoples, we are bring them to that place to see the location. What is the changing? What is the result in there? So automatically, then later they in their mind and had to use.
You enable them to visit it by themselves,
Yeah, madam.
witness it. Right. Okay, that's really interesting, impressive. Thank you, Mahesh, for sharing it. And yes, someone else wanted to share again experience. Yes, please. Yes, somebody else also opened the discussion, right?
My experience is that
Yes.
when begins a change, there is some manager or someone, right? There is a person to conduct that one. I think that person should have the patience.
Hmm.
Otherwise, if he is rushed to do that thing,
Yeah,
that change will not be success.
exactly. Yes.
And actually, you are also repeating many times that there should be a gradual change.
Hmm.
But thing is, actually, I think that factor should be emphasized in a forum like this. According to my experience, a lot of managers hasn't that idea because gradual the change should be gradual. That should be the main policy of a change.
Hmm.
Otherwise, that employees don't like to adhere to that
Yeah,
change.
they will not support.
Yeah, yeah. That I think we should emphasize as much as possible. You should be patient and change should
Hmm.
be done gradually.
Yes. Otherwise,
Uh,
the resistance will go up if
yeah,
it doesn't happen in that manner.
actually, persons who are responsible to do changes, uh, ac- uh, actually, they are highly academically qualified.
Hmm.
However, I noticed that they don't like to pay their attention towards that factors,
Hmm.
that gradual change and patient.
Yes.
They want to do everything at once.
Yes. Yes. So, especially when technology comes to the middle of a change, I think the generational gap is inevitable. So, that's but there are some, what do you call, odd situations as well. So, if I share another experience of mine is now the vice chancellor of the Open University, he is a very updated person with technology and everything. Actually, he is the person sometimes who shares these new platforms with us, right? Actually, I learned many these interactive learning platforms from him, like Box. What else he said? Mentimeter. I had learned Mentimeter from somewhere else. Mentimeter, Padlet. Likewise, he learns the thing from somewhere else by reading and by exploring the thing. Then he tells academics in different forums, meetings, he share. You can change these things during your lectures and develop your LMS page with all these activities in very interactive manner. But there are some academics still who don't maintain proper LMS pages. But pr- comparatively, maybe young generation, they may be developing LMS in interactive manner, including all these activities. Even sometimes they change the template so that it with technology and so on. But the vice chancellor is from the age is what do you call, he's more older than us, right? But still he's very updated and he's very open to change and technology and inspiring us. It's like that idealized influence. He's inspiring us to uh, try out many new teaching, learning tools, technologies, and so on. So there are different situations like that. So this change, innovation, all these things are inevitable, very important, interesting, at the same time very chaotic processes in an organization, right? That's true. So human aspect, cost, whether you can afford new technology, whether you can afford the training course, all those things matters. Even though sometimes, even though you want to change something, cost may be a barrier. Technological know-how may be a barrier. Infrastructure may be a barrier for you. There is another classic example that one of my friends is conducting a kind of a course. What do you call it? It's a skill-oriented course, but he has taken it from his brother, elder brother. But now that elder brother, he wants to continue the same things. I mean, the same course, content, delivery method, and so on. My friend wants to change that with new technology, with new generation, while new generation coming enrolling into that course. But brother, he doesn't support. So now there is a conflict there. I mean, not a physical conflict, the ideological, verbal conflict, whether to go for change or to continue the legacy. So it happens with generation changes and everything. So that's the truth behind change and innovation. But however, I think change is inevitable. So obviously we have to change and we have to embrace innovation as well. There's no option for us left behind there. So now if you want, you can take a screenshot of this, but this is like a very scribbly thing. But still, if you want, you can take a screenshot. So there are different kinds of changes. They may be either reactive changes or they may be proactive changes. They may be incremental changes or they may be very radical transformational changes, right? So reactive changes means when something happens in the environment, as a reaction for that we are going to change something. The classic example is COVID-19. As a reaction to COVID-19, we went for a work from home, Zoom-based teaching, learning, right? And the companies who had not online retailing, they introduced those online retailing facilities through their website. So all those things are reactive changes. Proactive change means even before there is a need in the society among customers in the environment, you introduce something new. Maybe the introduction of electric vehicle, right? The things happen in Apple, artificial intelligence, right? Maybe ChatGPT, maybe Uber Pick Me, right? Even before the need arises in the society, you become the leader, pioneer, and you introduce the change itself. So Amazon, OpenAI, then Tesla, then all these things that we didn't predict that they will exist, those are proactive changes, reactive and proactive. Then another classification is some changes are incremental changes. That means small changes. So like you change your attendance policy, upgrading your existing platform to the next version, right? Kind of small gradual changes, incremental changes. The next change is a total transformational change. That means your company is introducing totally a new thing, a kind of a paradigm shift, a new shift. That is a transformational change, right? Maybe what, like when it comes to our government institutes, now I can see Mahesh is sharing some videos and images. Thank you very much, Mahesh, for sharing your experience with us commonly. So if our existing very traditional manual processes are hugely shifting to a smart practices, they may be transformational changes given the rigid, very lethargic nature of those institutes. They may be total transformational changes, right? So now our passport issuing system, so if it's a very with a very manual system, if you are going to change it to totally a digital platform, even the application, uploading evidence and getting the passport, if everything is digitalized, even without visiting the premises, So it's a transformational change, right? So from other energy sources, from shifting from other energy sources to solar, it's kind of a transformational change happened in the world, right? So e-commerce or retail experience, rather than visiting the shop physically, you can get anything across the world just by clicking just by having one click on your phone, right? So those are transformational changes. Almost all the aspect in the organization is changing with the transformational changes. Incremental change is not like that. So while you are continuing your existing processes, small changes are introduced, like Kaizen. And small changes increase in the efficiency, productivity. Those are incremental change. Transformation means the entire majority of organizational aspects are changed with that. The entire culture, practices, behavior, mindset of employees, everything, a huge change. So that is transformational change. So we can identify that kind of different change dynamics in organization. However, my dear friends, we need to understand that this change innovation, while we are introducing all these things, the final thought is there should be a proper balance between introducing change innovation and keeping the stability in the organization, right? So this is keeping the stability in the organization. This is introducing change and innovation, right? Of course, you have to introduce change innovation, you have to adapt, you have to embrace, but at the same time, it shouldn't be very disruptive, very disturbing to your organizational practice. If you are going to introduce a new change every day, you can't continue your day-to-day work, right? You can't continue your operation. There should be stability. But on the other hand, you can't maintain the established processes for a long period of time. Time to time, when the situation requires, you have to introduce change and innovation as well. So the balance, proper balance between this stability and change is very, 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 very important. So without disturbing your day-to-day practices, without being a frog in the well, without stagnating in the past practices, you have to balance these two aspects. That is very important, right? So that is the final thought that I want you to take from the lecture. So if you want, you can take a screenshot there as well. There's nothing much, but if you want, you can just take a screenshot. So this is the final thought that I want you to take home from the lecture. The balance between stability and change and innovation, right? Final thought of the lecture. So would you like to contribute to that aspect as to how this balance should be made? How we are going to balance between existing processes and introducing changes? Any experience? Any idea? Yes? Anybody who would like to share your experience before we winding up our entire lecture series today?
It is saying that no balance changes happen so far. I think no any response to others from others.
Right. Okay. So finally, I would like to share one video with you as to how leaders should foster the change, how leaders should open the eyes of subordinates as to how change should be embraced in order to uh, face the challenges, barriers, and open up new path for your company, right? So you being leaders, you will have to take this role, how you open the eyes of your employees to embrace change and open new paths to reach your destined goals and objectives. Wait, I share it again.
Oh no! I'm lost! Where's the line? It just went away! What do I do? Help! I'll be stuck here forever!
Do not panic! Do not panic! We are trained professionals! Now stay calm. We are going around the leaf.
Around the leaf? I don't think we can do that.
Oh, nonsense. This is nothing compared to the twig of 93. That's it. That's it. Good. You're doing great. There you go. There you go. Watch my eyes. Don't look away. And here's the line again.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Soil.
Good job, everybody.
Oh my. Right? Leader's role there. When a barrier is there, you have to show the new path to your employees. You have to encourage them emotionally to adapt the change, take up the new path, right? Continuously support, continuously train, and what do you call, emotionally support them, being the guiding light for them, and let them and the company to achieve your goals and objectives. So in change, innovation also, this leadership matters hugely. So as leaders in your companies, you can do it, right? You can lead innovation, change in your company while maintaining the stability as well. So with that, we came to the conclusion, the final part of our entire lecture series. We spent 4 days, right, into 3 hours. That means 12 hours, just 12 hours, but we discussed a lot, many concepts, many knowledge sharing, experience sharing, interactions, many activities, right? We experienced a lot. So I'm really happy with your batch, with your engagement and so on. So with this, we conclude this lecture series. I wish you all the very best for all your career, learning, personal life, and everything, with everything. So have happy learning ahead. Before winding up, would you like to say anything? Any comment, any feedback, any expression, any idea? As we are going to conclude the entire lecture series, yes?
Extremely thank you very much, ma'am. Actually, it was really detailed, insightful, and very interactive session. And it was not that boring as well. And everyone was engaging, and you kept the things very close and interactive to everyone. Actually, I hope everyone had the same feeling. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You also contributed a lot during the discussion. Thank you very much for that energy and engagement. Yes.
And same time, I just want to add, madam, that we, as you said, now 12 hours had, but we don't feel that we had that much of hours while we are sitting on that lecture. And
Yeah.
it is very interactive. And as Sahin said, that it's very, very good lecture series. And you, you organized the lecture very well. I mean, the quantity and how the interacting time also managing, that is very impressive. And thank you very much for your all through the lecture series.
Thank you, Dinesh.
Thank you
You
very much.
also contributed a lot for the discussion. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, ma'am, you have very good teaching skill. You did it very interactively, and you did it by your heart. So we could earn a lot of things through your sessions. We actually appreciate your attempt. It was successful. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best. You too.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much for your
Ma'am,
motivating words, Sidhu.
please tell me when we can have our marks of assignments also.
I have already marked them actually, so they will release soon.
Okay.
Okay, right. And Mahesh, Siad, Mahesh, and Ashok, and Prabhat. Thank you very much. I received your feedback in the chat as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your
Yeah, Dil.
attempt. And it was really meaningful, and I enjoyed the whole process. Although I was being a bit engaging, but not engaging at the same time because I'm working and studying both at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was throughout the whole time I was here. Anyways, I was in the project, but not much engaging at times. But it was a really nice lesson and learned a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Adil. Yeah, I can understand your struggle. I also went the same. Doing an MBA with a job is not an easy task at all. Right? Thank you
Because
very
we
much.
work on Saturdays also.
Yeah.
So I'm in the office working and studying both at the same time. So I have to
Yeah.
wait till somebody is not passing by to, engage.
Yes. So that's really understandable. Thank you very much for contributing when you can. And right, thanks a lot. And thank you, Pali. Thank you, Gayan. Right? Yes, Rashmi, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, of course. Thank you, ma'am. The way you are delivering is very clear and understandable, and it was really interesting having the conversations with you. All the very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rashmi. Thanks a lot. So I believe if anyone else want to talk, you can talk freely, right? And Tharini, thank you. Received your message too. Okay, and since you did your part from that end, I think it was a support for me to do my job from this end as well. Both of us are just looking at a screen and talking to each other. So from your end, you were very supportive, interactive. So that's why I also got motivated and had a very interactive session with you all. So that credit goes to you as well for making this class a very interactive, very meaningful, really insightful session, right? Thank you, Subhasan. Thank you, Senali. So thanks a lot. I'm really happy to have you all in this classroom. So we'll try to physically meet one day. Actually, I missed your inauguration session due to another personal commitment. If there is another, I think Miss Asari will surely arrange some more sessions with you, physical sessions with you. If so, we'll try to meet another day. Right, I'm happy to see you all and continue this learning journey very well. And after 2 years, be there at the convocation, and there also we'll try to talk with each other, right? Come and talk with us. So happy learning. Good luck with all your endeavors, dear all. And then goodbye, everyone. Have a good weekend and nice future ahead.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much, Rich.
everyone.
Have a nice day, you. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, Sia.
Bye,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam. Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you so much, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, Shaminda. Thank you, everyone.